Welcome to Authors Speak. Authors Speak, an initiative by Books etc., the literary gift store. I'm sure you all have been to the Books etc. site. It's a delightful place with lots of mementos and gifting stuff built around, made around, created around authors and books. So yes, it's a treat for any book lover. So my name is Shubha Menon. I am an author. I've been a copywriter for most of my life, but some time back I dropped the copy part and I am hopefully a writer now. So I have two published books. The first one is The Second Coming, published by HarperCollins in November 2014. It's chick-lit, it's laugh out loud. I recommend it strongly. And the second book, the one which I'm going to talk about today, is called Resilience, Stories of Muslim Women. This has been published by Front Page Publications and it was launched in September 2019. So I would like to tell you a little bit about my book. It is set in the Nizamuddin Basti in Nizamuddin West, and it is about an adult education center started by Shabnam Hashmi, who's well-known social activist. So she started this center for the girls of Nizamuddin Basti. A whole lot of them, of whom a whole lot of them had never been to school ever, and they came from very cloistered, very conventional and very orthodox homes, and also were financially very, very deprived. So when she met these girls, she wanted to do something for them, and that's how the Seher Center was born. My book talks about 11 of these girls, and to get their stories out, I had to go to Nizamuddin Basti again and again, and I went to their homes, I sat with them, I talked to them, I got to know their families, I ate with them, and when I started talking to them, it became apparent to me that I need to know more about the Muslim personal laws and about this whole talaq controversy, and so many things which these girls have been affected by, and I needed to know more about these things. So I also met Muslim lawyers, Muslim authors, Muslim journalists, all women, so that I could get a more rounded view of what with Muslim girls really what they face. Because a lot of these girls, for example, one of the girls who's sort of the protagonist, I've covered her a great deal in the book. Her name is Farida, and she was only 9 years old when she was put into a burqa. And then when she was 12 years old, she was married off to a stranger and sent away to a far-off village. By the time she was 14, she had 2 children. And then her husband said, talaq, talaq, talaq. And she had to come back to her house with nothing. No alimony, no education, and, old parents, and a very, very grim scenario. And, this is the kind of girl who Shabnam drew out and whom she taught. And what makes the book special is that it was the school. Seher was not just a school where they were taught Urdu writing, reading, or ABC and math and all. They were taught all that, and they gave exams and they did their schooling and their DAs and all that. But more than that, what Shabnam did was that she spoke to them about gender, about human rights, about equality, about talaq, about so many things. She took them to planetariums, to picnics, to libraries. So she really broadened their horizons, and that shows in these women today, because the generations that came after them, like these girls, their children and their grandchildren, they have done so well for themselves. Like there are so few of them whom I met who are now computer software engineers. There is an air hostess in the making. There is a girl who's working for a channel. So this little bit of education what a lot of difference it made. That is what my book is about. So, I started writing this book after Shabnam asked me to, and when I met the girls and I saw how much their whole how they had not been cowed down and or pulled down by their circumstances, then I decided that I have to tell their stories. And it took me about 3 years to write the book and get it out into the market. And there's so much I learnt about the Basti, and that is all also in the book. For example, I discovered that there is a gym in the Nizamuddin Basti, and I went there and actually saw these girls in their hijabs and their burqas on the treadmill. So it was like amazing. And then I the dargah and the tabligis, all these interesting things, they kind of called out to me. And while I was not planning to write them, when I started writing the book, they all are part of the book. And so let me quickly read out a para for you from the book. So this is about Farida. She talks about the time she went to a cinema hall for the first time. It was a clandestine affair, and a few girls collected at the Seher Center and then separately slipped out of the Basti in burqas. Shabnam accompanied them. For a girl who had never set eyes on even a television, cinema was a revelation. She hadn't even heard the qawwalis at the dargah. When Amitabh Bachchan and Rati Agnihotri sang "Na तूने signal देखा, ना मैंने signal देखा, accident हो गया रब्बा रब्बा," Farida's heartbeats raced. A die-hard Amitabh fan was born right there. She was riveted and wished the movie would never end. But when it did, she was filled with guilt and shame. If people at her home found out, they would be aghast. Even music was not approved of by the markas. And this was cinema. Farida was convinced that she had committed an unpardonable sin. Bahut namazein padhi. She had to say the namaz many times, she told me, shaking her head from side to side. Then I asked her, तुम्हें याद है इस पिक्चर की शूटिंग में एक एक्सीडेंट हुआ था? And but of course she could not recall the accident, where Amitabh Bachchan had been punched almost fatally by Puneet Issar. I guess she had gone straight home from the movie, and her next outing would have been months later. So so that's a little bit from the book. Amir and Sabah want me to recommend to you some reading during the lockdown and my favorite authors, but I'm not going to do that because I think that's really, really subjective, and like I hate science fiction and stuff like that, so I don't want to recommend anything there. But I will tell you how I spend my time in the lockdown. I thought I would write. I'm working on a third book. I thought I would like work on it a lot, but I haven't written anything. I don't know where the day goes, and I just play with the dogs. I'm cooking. I'm trying out new recipes. I'm having the time of my life. So I think with this lockdown, I've reverted back to normal. So my life of rushing and all the time busily going from here to there, it's all fallen off, and I have become the homebody who just reads, and that is my normal, and I'm reverted to it. So thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you. Bye.